Champions League is back and it is the round of 16. Who's gonna win it come May 2024? We'll see. Let's quickly take a step back a little bit with my predictions for the round of 16 with the teams that I said will make it. In total, I got 12 out of 16 correct. That's about 75%. But let's be honest, Copenhagen, I didn't give them a sniff. I gave them no chance whatsoever. I thought Man United surely qualify and they failed. PSV, I also didn't initially had. I had Sevilla qualifying with Arsenal, so I missed that out. Real Madrid, Napoli, I got. Real Sociedad, I didn't have them qualifying. I thought Benfica would be the better team and would get out the group with Inter, so I didn't have Sociedad as well. Lazio, I thought Feyenoord, after the impressive performance in the Europa League last year, I just thought they will make it out of this group, but Lazio surprised us. We had that last minute goal by the keeper. Absolutely amazing scenes that we saw in the group stages. Dortmund in the group of death, I thought they finished last. I honestly believe they would have finished last, but you know, what do I know? Honestly, I messed that one up. They finished top of the group. They topped the group and deservedly so. They were amazing. Leipzig and Man City, that was pretty much a given, as well as Barcelona and Porto. I think those were easier to predict. With that being said, let me get into my predictions for the Champions League. Who I think is gonna win it. I think it would have easily, for me, been Real Madrid if they didn't have so many injuries. I think Madrid are the most impressive team right now out there, and I just thought that if they could keep their players fit. Thibaut Courtois, yes, he got an ACL. Will he be back in time if, let's say, Madrid make the final? I'm not sure. I think he might be out for the season. So many injuries that Madrid have to come up with some makeshift defense. They don't necessarily have an out-and-out goal-getter, amazing number 9. They're relying from goals through everyone. Contributions from Vinicius Jr., Jude Bellingham, and Rodrigo. Absolutely amazing trio right now. I don't know how Ancelotti has got them ticking. Jude Bellingham has been player of the season so far out of any league. This man is literally on track to win the Ballon d'Or right now. And I think that's a fact that no one can argue. So for me, Real Madrid would have been my favorites to win it if they didn't have many injuries. Man City as defending champions, and we know that second half of the season they start putting on a run together, going unbeaten in so many games. They become impregnable. They become so invincible, if I could use the term, in the second half of the season. Very dangerous team. I feel like priority would be securing a 4th Premier League though. I don't know why. I just feel like they do not do the double. I do not think Man City win Champions League and win the Premier League. I think one will have to be foregone. And if I think about it, I think Man City probably win the Premier League, but don't win Champions League. Although I would think that Champions League should be more important. Getting a back-to-back Champions League and a second in your entire history should, I think, in a way, be more important than winning a 4th Premier League in a row. I just feel like Man City needs to establish their pedigree on the European scale. You know what I mean? Of course, everything is being done with that extras by their name in terms of the 115 charges, but this is Champions League and Man City were cleared of that a long time ago. So for me, if the draw works out favorably, I do think it's a Man City versus Real Madrid final, where in the final I could see Real Madrid winning it. I think that's the team. I'm going with Real Madrid to win it if they can just keep their players fit. Really, that's what it's down to for me. Real Madrid win it. I don't know why so many people count Real Madrid out every single season. Winning is in their DNA. The Champions League is in their DNA, and they will always show up for the Champions League. So for me, Real Madrid are favorites. I think they win it. If they get any more injuries, then I guess I will have to say it's Man City. But I strongly believe Man City do not do the double. Player of the season for UCL will be Jude Bellingham. That's for sure. And I think top scorer might actually just be Alvarez, because I think City will probably go all the way to the final. So they'll probably play more games, and he's already on 5 goals, and he seems to play almost every minute for City now. So he looks very difficult to drop. Pep is forced sometimes to play with both Haaland and Alvarez. So I think Alvarez will finish top goal scorer, and I think Jude Bellingham will win player of the season. Keeper, in terms of clean sheets, I am not even sure how the keepers are doing actually in Champions League, because I think there's just been so many goals, and there's been so many goals. I'll have to check on that. Probably it looks like Romero of Real Sociedad currently has the most clean sheets with 4, but I do not think Real Sociedad go all the way, so I think he will be overtaken. And next we have Jan Sommer of Inter Milan. Inter were finalists last season, and we know Inter can have a really mean defense. I think he will probably overtake Romero and have more clean sheets, and probably Inter maybe reach the semi-final. David Raya of Arsenal has 3 clean sheets together with Jan Sommer, but I think Arsenal concede way too many goals. So with that being said, I still think actually Jan Sommer of Inter Milan will win keeper of the tournament and have the most clean sheets and win the Golden Glove basically for the UEFA Champions League. Let's get into my round of 16 predictions. We have Copenhagen and Man City. I think Man City qualify easily, not too easily. I think it will be a very tricky game in Copenhagen in Denmark. I think Copenhagen are a tidy side, and they've already shown what they can do by beating Man United and coming out of a group with Man United and Galatasaray, and slightly, really narrowly beaten by Bayern Munich. So you should not underestimate them at all, but Man City should qualify and win the tie. We also have Real Madrid and Leipzig. Also, again, Leipzig can be very tricky when they want to be, especially at home in Germany, in Leipzig. So I think Real Madrid might have a tricky away game, but at home, I think they get the job done and they qualify to the quarterfinals. PSG and Real Sociedad, although it's very controversial how PSG got here, let's not forget the penalty given to them against Newcastle. Newcastle probably would have been the team that replaces PSG in this tournament, in this round of 16, if that penalty was not given incorrectly. And we know that in a way they admitted that they made an error by dropping the VAR that made that decision to go have the ref re-look at the footage in the following games. So definitely very shady, but I think now they get through clean. Real Sociedad is a very difficult team to play against, but I think PSG will have just too much for Real Sociedad at the Parc des Princes. Lazio and Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich are going through a little bit of a tricky spell in the league recently, but I think in the Champions League they can get their act together, get out of their round of 16 tie and qualify for the quarterfinals. They're facing Lazio. I see a Bayern qualification easy. PSV and Dortmund. Dortmund, one of the most inconsistent teams that you'll find, but in the Champions League, let's be fair, they've been superb, so I'll have them qualifying to the quarters. Inter Milan and Atletico, probably the biggest game of the round. Inter Milan and Atletico Madrid. For me, it's going to be very weird because both these teams can be very defensive, but let's be fair, Inter Milan play some beautiful football compared to Atletico's anti-football. It's what they call Simeone's tactics, anti-football. And for me, Inter Milan will have too much for Atletico Madrid. I think Inter Milan are the better team. They had a great showing in the Champions League last season, narrowly lost out to Man City in the final 1-0. I think they go a long way again in this campaign, and they've had a brilliant campaign so far in Italy, and it looks like they're on course to win Serie A again after, I guess, a few years. Arsenal and Porto. Arsenal. Something about Arsenal where they can just turn it on in one game and then turn it off the next. They were going through a very difficult spell, losing I think 2 games in a row, and then they've just turned out and beat Liverpool and then beat West Ham 6-0 in the domestic league. Wow. Arsenal, you don't know which Arsenal is going to show up, but I think Arsenal will struggle against Porto away. Definitely for sure in Portugal, Porto are a very difficult team to play against, but I think Arsenal will have enough in the home leg at least to take them through. Arsenal are feeling good right now. They're also challenging for the league. I do not think Porto is a tricky team to really make them feel tired or make them feel the consequences of having intense Champions League match with intense league match. I don't think Arsenal will feel it yet. Maybe they will feel it in the quarterfinals, but they will have enough to beat Porto, that's for sure. Napoli and Barcelona, I feel like Napoli have had a poor season. Although Barcelona have had a poor season, to be fair, Napoli's season has been worse. And I think now it's between two teams that are really struggling for form at the moment, but I think Barcelona should have enough to make it to the quarterfinals. I also feel like Xavi is now really relying on a good showing for Barcelona in the Champions League. We know that he's planning on resigning at the end of the season, so he'd really want to leave an impressive mark in the Champions League. With that being said, that is my prediction of the teams that go through to the quarterfinals, and my final predictions of who wins it. I think Jude Bellingham definitely wins Player of the Season, and I think Real Madrid are my favorites to win the Champions League, as long as they can keep most of their players. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to subscribe. I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.
Man is on the beat, bro.